Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar where we are going to see how to teach ROS in a practical and simple manner. So in a way that you as teachers are going to enjoy your teacher's task, and also the students, they are going to learn a lot, they are going to have fun, they are going to practice a lot. So let me switch to the slides here and let me tell you what is my experience on teaching ROS. So based on my experience, I think that the only way to make the students to learn ROS is to make them practice. But when I say practice, I mean a lot of practice. Okay, not just a little bit. So what you are going to learn here is a teaching method of ROS based on practice. So we are going to see what are the steps that you have to do in order to prepare this class for your students, so that they will be able to practice without any hassle. So who is this guy who is talking to you? So my name is Ricardo Tellez, and I am teaching actually ROS at the University of La Salle. But here on that screen, you can see that I was teaching how to use OpenAI with ROS at the last ROSCon, so some weeks ago. That was in Macau. And I was using the method that I'm going to teach you here today. You can watch this full webinar at the link that it is there. Let me put this link here on the chat so you can check it later. So let me see if I can copy that one. Just a second, stay with me. So here I'm going to copy so you can watch it later. So I'm going to be sharing many links with you with useful information that along the whole webinar. So that's the kind of webinars that I like. And you know, this is the webinar that provide me with some information that is nice, but also with some useful stuff that I can use. So that's how I do my webinars also. So here it is the link. You can watch it later, okay? Please don't go now and watch the webinar, and because then you will miss this one. Okay, so let's continue with that. So this was a class that I did at the ROSCon. Then here it is at my class at La Salle University, where I am actually teaching this ROS for the students of the Master of Robotics there at the university. And also as another experience, I deliver a live class every Tuesday on YouTube. So it's Tuesday at 6 CET. Since 2017, I have been delivering this. There are a lot of videos there on that channel that you can see there, the link, and I'm going to put also on the chat. So I'm delivering those live classes using the method that I'm going to teach you here. And what I do is I make the people that comes to the webinar to practice with me. So let me copy you this link, this final link of the live class, just in case that you would like to attend any Tuesday. So it's every Tuesday at the same time on the same place. That is the YouTube channel. So, okay, so that's a little bit tricky, doing too many things at the same time. Yes, but I think that it's going to be worth for you. So there it is, the link. Okay, so let's continue now. Then I have to do a warning here before we start. So the first thing is that if you are looking for a method that is a fast method based on just a slide, showing some slides there on the screen, so the students, they are going to follow your slides and take notes and do something, then I'm sorry, but this is not the place. So if you want to do that, then you can go and search on the internet, on Google, search for the slides. There are a lot there. For example, here there is one that you can do, that you can use. Very, very useful the slides. Very nice course. So let me copy that link for you also. So it's this one here. It's from the University of Zurich. And that's a very cool slides-based course. Even if they do also some practice and on ROS, they do. But I mean, the main material is on the slides. So yeah, so that's it. Then that's an example. So you can change the logo of the slides and then you are done. So you have your course there, done, easy peasy. There are many of those slides based on the internet. Then also, if you want even easier, okay, so you don't even want to download this and change the logo and provide this, then very easy. Go and make the students go to the wiki of ROS, the official wiki that is there. I'm not going to copy because you already know. And that's it, done. So you have everything here for an easy way of creating a class for ROS. The problem is that here we are not going to work on this method, on those methods, because we want the students to be really involved, really practice a lot. But also on the other side, we want to avoid all the problems that come with this practice-based teaching that we are going to see in a minute. Then also would like to do another disclaimer that this webinar is not for selling anything because Black Friday or whatever. It's just for providing useful things for you to do. And everything is for free in here. So let's continue. If you are in, you still stay with me beside those disclaimers that I have said, then let's go, let's continue. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is about the problems of teaching ROS. So which ones are the problems? You already know, for sure. The first one, for me, is the first one, is the most common that I have every year. Every year, the students, they come and they don't know how to use Linux. They don't know how to program in any program, neither Python nor C++. Just have some barely an idea about Python sometimes, but that is the thing. So actually, so they want to learn ROS. They have to learn ROS because they are on the master of robotics, but they don't know how to create a program. And they don't know how to move inside a Linux environment in a simple line command. And you know that this is basics for ROS. So they are struggling from the first moment, from the very beginning of the class. They are struggling with this, and they are kind of having this during the whole course that is preventing them from actually taking the learning of ROS. So this is the first problem that we are going to attack in this method, okay? Stay with me. This is the first one. Second one, I'm sure you have suffered this also a lot. Installing ROS in the student's computer or in your lab computers also. If you are using a lab-based class, and you have the computers there for the students, also the same problem. Installing there, first, it's a pain, it's a lot of time, and also it's a lot of errors. The people, the students, that they do have Windows, they don't want to do a boot loader with 2 versions of Windows and Linux. And even if they do, they have a lot of problems. Then when they are doing the practices, they crash something in the Linux system and you had to reinstall again. You know, these kind of errors, I'm sure you have suffered. So we are going to attack this problem too. Then also, so preparing the curriculum is hard work. So you have to, if you want to do a practice-based curriculum, then you will have to do and prepare a lot of things. And how to present these to the students so they can follow and take the most of this. So that's also a problem if you don't want to spend your whole life preparing this curriculum, of course. So we are going to see some tips about how to improve this, how to structure everything, and how to get some data that is already available in the net. And then finally, if you prepare this curriculum, you prepare those demonstrations, you have this code that is running on your computer, then you have to provide this to your students so they can practice. But it doesn't work in their computers. Yes, I know, they have installed the same things as you, they have the same version, the same virtual machine, but at the end, it doesn't work. And you know this, this is horrible. So you spend a lot of time trying to make work in their computers what is already working in yours, that you have prepared all that material. So those are the problems that we are going to attack in this presentation here. So now let's go to see the method. How should we do this class in order to avoid those problems? Okay, so let's go. the first thing that we are going to do is to use a cloud environment. So that means that we are not going to install anything in the computers of the students, neither the students nor your computers, your teacher computer. Not necessarily. Why? Because we are going to use a cloud environment. It is called the ROS Development Studio. It's a ROS environment that is on the cloud, and you only need a web browser to access. It's very, very simple. So you have here the address, and then you can go there, create a free account, and then you can do, with a free account, you can do a lot. I mean, all the live classes that we are doing, for example, in this YouTube channel every Tuesday, they are done using the free account. You can check our videos and see that, and then you can do so many things. And then the part that is not free in that case, in the ROS, is for extra CPUs when you want to do research or very, very, very important projects. And that's for the rest, for your teachings, that's more than enough, I'm pretty sure. So you can go there and create a free account, and also make your students to create a free account. Well, actually, you don't have to make them, because they will when you share the work with them. But don't worry now. So create an account now, and then by doing this, you will be creating your curriculum there on the cloud and having everything there. This means that you don't have to install anything in your computer, and also you can use any computer. You can use your Windows machine that is on your, I don't know, in your desk at your lab, for example, and then your Mac that is a laptop afterwards to continue with your work and so on. So that's the nice thing about using a cloud system for ROS and for teaching ROS. So you avoid the installation. Then next step, you have this system already set up, you have your account created, and then you have to decide what other variables are necessary in order to teach. So we need to decide first some things. Let's see which ones are. First, of course, we have to decide which robotics subject you want to teach. Okay, so I'm going to teach this robotics, this ROS subject about this. So we are going to see an example. Then you need to decide for which ROS distribution you want to prepare the material, and also decide the programming language. Then, as an example, for example, we can decide that we are going to create a course or ROS course based on robot navigation with ROS, for example. So that's our subject. We are going to use ROS to Eloquent, for example. Just an example. That's just the last one that just was released on last Saturday. Last Saturday was released ROS to Eloquent. And then we are going to use Python program. So that's an example. Okay, so you decide those three things. By the way, the ROS to Eloquent is also supported in the ROS Development Studio. So when you create your code, you can decide for which type of ROS, kinetic, melodic, ROS to Crystal, and Eloquent. Dashing and Eloquent. Dashing and Eloquent. They are supported there. So you can create your code, your projects for any of those distributions there. Then, next thing, you need to provide, to have clear the prerequisites that your students will have to have in order to start learning about this ROS course. So you need to make them learn in some way Linux and Python. So I'm suggesting Python here because if they don't know how to program, then making them learn ROS with C++ will be a lot more difficult. Also making them, if they don't know how to program, making them learn C++ at that moment, that's a huge work. And you're going to spend, or they are going to spend most of their time finding bugs in the C++ code. Nothing related to the robot navigation and nothing related to ROS. It's just about C++. And that's not the purpose of this class, I understand. So then that's why I suggest that you make them learn Python. So the students have to have this background in Linux and Python. but you know that they don't have that. They have a problem with this teaching, and then they with this learning, so they have to learn. So what I suggest is that you send some messages prior to the first day of the class so that they start learning Linux and Python on a couple of free courses that I suggest for you. This one is the Linux for Robotics. We have created this course and it's online, it's completely free. And there is another one, Python for Robotics, that I'm going to put those two links on the chat in a minute. And why they are interesting is because in those courses, we are teaching the fundamentals of Linux and Python that they are going to need in order to program with ROS and robotics, but not more. So we don't teach the whole Linux shell and bash scripts and all these. No, just the things that you need. You need to know how to launch, how to create a directory, how to move through the directories, how to provide execution permissions, how to delete a file, those things that you are going to use a lot during the day-to-day ROS. And the same for Python. We are not teaching everything about Python and how to create an environment. Well, how to create an environment, we need it for some things, so it is included there. But just the basic stuff. So we have filtered all this and prepared for courses of robotics afterwards. And also we have even included an exam there on this online course that they can take prior to coming to your class, for example. So they can take this exam and provide that to you. So say, hey, that's my result on the exam. You can see, so I have done the course and I have reached this level on the exam. So let me copy those courses links in case that you are interested. Let me see, here it is, the page, where is it? Is here. Okay, so I'm going to copy. The first one is Linux for Robotics. Let me copy this here on the chat. Then also this Python for Robotics course that it's included here. There it is. Okay, so this is my recommendation. So you tell them, hey, you should start first with those courses, do them, take the exam, and then come back and tell me that you have done it. So prove that you have done it. And these are for free. So just go and tell them and provide them if you want, of course. Okay, so now we have decided the framework in which we are going to teach. That means robot navigation with ROS, ROS kinetic, Python programming. And now we have set our students into some courses that they are preparing now and getting up to date before the first class. And then now we are going to decide the units of the course for robot navigation with ROS. So you have to divide into units, into one unit explaining one of the concepts or a group of concepts, of related concepts. So this is just an example that I'm providing here, is for this class of robot navigation. Then I would suggest those units, 6 units, geometry-based navigation, sensors for robot navigation, SLAM, localization, path planning, and obstacle avoidance. And then I include another unit that is the project. Then the project is a special unit. So the project is something that the students have to solve from end to end, from beginning to end. That's the correct expression in English, I think. So they have to use all their knowledge of the previous units in order to create something in ROS that uses all that knowledge. For example, in this case, I decided a patrol control. That means that it's a robot that is going to patrol around, move around. So it's going to have to create a map, to take into account the positions where to patrol, to localize itself, to create path plannings, avoid obstacles, so all that. So the student, they can apply all this into a single thing. So that is going to put into their heads the meaning of all those units into a single project. Then, if you have decided the units, you have to decide the robots to use. What I suggest is that you use different robots for the different units. So if possible, I know that's more work, but if possible, that would be nice to have a different robot in a different unit. Why? Because then the student can see the same things with different eyes, with different robots, that in their head is going to make the student understand better. So it's not something related to that specific robot. It's something that applies to any wheeled robot, for example, in our case. So this is an example. So for Unit 1, we are going to use the Summit XL robot from Robotnik. That is this one that you can see on the picture. Then for Unit 2, the Husky, then the Turtlebot 2, then the Velocity, ROSbot, RB1. And then for the project, okay, for the project, I'm going to use the same Turtlebot 2 that I used on the Unit 3. That's okay. Okay, so that's the most convenient way. So I'm not telling you that you have to. This is the most convenient. If you are running out of time preparing, or you have some problems with one of those robots, then just repeat the robot, because all those robots are prepared. They have to be prepared for the teaching unit that it has to be. So if you need to, for example, if you need to have a robot with a laser for creating a map, then you have to put a robot with a laser there. Or if you have a robot that doesn't have a laser but has a camera, you cannot use it in that unit, that specific unit that requires a laser. So that's what I mean. And also repeating that, use as many different robots as possible in order to make them understand better the concepts. Then, so you have decided the units and also the simulations, the robots that we are going to use for each unit. Then for each unit, we are going to do this following. So we are going to create a ROS jet in the ROS Development Studio. So what is a ROS jet? Well, a ROS jet, it's a ROS project. It's what we call a ROS project, and that contains all the teaching material that is required for the unit that you are going to teach. So you should create a ROS jet per each unit. Okay, different ROS jets. And what are we going to put into this ROS jet? What content material are we going to put into that ROS jet for each unit? Well, the first thing is the simulation of the robot. So you need to use the robots for practice, but I presume that you don't have the robots, or if you have some, you don't have for all the class, then we are going to use the simulation, yeah? So you need to have these simulations, and for that, you can get the simulations from many repos available around the world, and they are for free, so you can download it and put it there directly into the ROS jet. So you can actually, inside the ROS jet, you can go and do a Git clone of a repo and compile and then use the simulation. The ROSDS also includes some pre-done simulations there that you can check, and then you can launch. So you don't even have to have the files. The simulations are there with the environment and the robot. So you can use them. But in case that you would like to use some code, and you don't find the specifically repo containing that simulation, what we can do is to provide you with our repo. So the repo of the construct, it's an open source simulation repo that you can use as you want. These are the simulations that we use in our code, in our classes, in all the things that we are delivering about ROS. So all of them are there. You can use freely, download it, copy, modify, do whatever you want. And you don't even have to tell us that or tell this about this. Oh, the simulations are, thank you for this. Okay, so if you do it, it's okay. If not, it's also very okay. So let me copy this repo address. Okay, wait, on the chat. And that's a little bit complicated because the presentation doesn't allow me to copy paste. So I need to go to the list of links that I have created so I can copy paste this for you, and it's not allowing me. Wait a second, stay with me. I think it's like this, and let me see if I can share that here. Control P. No. Okay, so I'm copying the previous one. Sorry, give me just a second more. One more second. Okay, so I think I'm going to open it directly. Yes, and here it is. Okay. So public the construct sim repo. There it is. And then there is a question here on the chat by Ben Sarah that says, can we use ROS for quadrators? Yes, of course. So if you mean if Mav ROS has been installed there, not yet. We are on that process, but you can try to install yourself inside the ROS yet. So you can do it. And so yes, so you can use it. And here I have Alejandro Alonso. Hey Alejandro, how are you doing? It's been a long time since the last time that we met. My pleasure, my honor that you are here on the webinar. So let me know if you have any doubt or question, and that applies also for the rest of the attendance of to the webinar. Okay, of course. Okay, so let's continue with that, and let me get back in this case and here to the screen. Yes. So you get the simulation. Okay. Then next thing, then you have to create the unit text. That means the text that is going to contain some annotations for you, the stuff that you would like to teach. That would be the equivalent to the slides, but it's not slides-based teaching because we are going to use Jupyter notebooks. And why we are going to use Jupyter notebooks? Because in Jupyter notebooks, we can include text explanations, we can include videos and pictures, that we can embed even Python code and ROS code inside, and you and the students can interact directly with the notebook. So that's a lot more fun and a lot more of interesting than just a slide. But also you can include the text, of course, that includes the explanations that you want to provide to the students. Then finally, you can provide, this is optional, to provide some sample code to the students. And why? Because this sample code will help them understand what you are requesting to them, or they are going to use that as a template for the unit. So for example, imagine that you want them to learn how to create a topic, but you don't, for subscribing, but you need a publisher, then you can provide, and publisher you still haven't taught, so you can provide this template that includes the publisher, but a space where they have to put the subscriber, just the topic that you have explained in that unit. So this is something, another code that you can include is some support code. So in case that you need, for example, the robot to be moving around, and then you still haven't shown how to move a robot around, but you want it to take some data from the sensors. So you can they can launch this command that makes the robot move around, and the code is provided by you. And they only have to create this code for reading the sensor. So that's the idea about providing some sample code to the students in the ROS yet. So then you have to repeat for each unit. Remember, let me tell you what I mean by repeating is you have to get the simulation for each unit. Then you have to get the text on the notebook. So you have to create your explanation. as best as possible, and then you have to provide some sample code if it is necessary for that unit. So you have to create those 3 things for each unit. Once you finish one unit, save, close the ROSjet, create a new one, and repeat. Okay, then I imagine that you have created all the units, the 6 units, ROSjet, and then we reach the point of the final project. But before reaching here, so let me go a little bit back, because I think I haven't indicated here in the unit text. Then here, I want to tell you that the method that we apply when we are teaching is that we provide some explanations and examples that the students can see following with you, but then we include an exercise that makes them maybe repeat the same thing with different data, maybe some variations of the same thing that we have explained, something like that, so that they can practice in this specific concept that we have taught in this unit. So we are putting those exercises in the middle of each unit after several explanations. So just to check that the guys are following. That this is in the middle of each unit, but at the end, when we have all the units, we add a final project. This final project is a specific ROSjet. It's an additional project that contains an exercise, as I mentioned before, that is integrating the knowledge of all the units. As an example, the example of the patrol robot that I mentioned. So that's the idea. And then, if possible, you should include the connection to the real robot, if possible. I understand that many universities, they don't have the chance to have robots for the students, so that's why the simulations, they were so nice. For those cases, I would suggest that you spend more time in the different simulations, in providing different simulations. Then on the other side, if you have access to robots for the students, maybe you don't spend so much time to the robot, to the simulations, so many different simulations, but instead you provide this real robot connection that can be done in the ROS-DS. For the ROS-DS, you can connect to the real robot in case that you want. Okay, so that's not mandatory. This is if possible. Why? Because it provides a richer experience to the student. So I have to be sincere with you. The feature of connecting to the real robot is a paying feature in the ROS-DS. So, but it's, as I mentioned, so we do all the live classes without having a robot. In La Salle, we do use the real robot connection. In La Salle, at the Master of Robotics, we do use. In that case, yes, because we have those startables. So you can see here some of my students with the startable doing some practice in there. That depends on the parts that your university allows you to do. I don't know. In this case, so you will have to discuss based on your possibilities. But I mean, the learning with the simulations and practicing with different robots for me is great, and you can provide many experiences that even with having access to robots you cannot, because having access to a robot, you maybe have one robot, two robots, but what about drones? Okay, so you don't have drones, you have those navigations, but not drones, mobile manipulators. So the simulations, that's why I like very much the simulations. Okay, then I didn't mention before, but I heavily think, or I don't know how to say in English, but you have to provide an exam to the guys. The students, they must feel the pressure of the exam. And this is, for me, it's very important, really. It's very important. And it's not only in order to evaluate the students, but also is to make them learn. So what I have observed is that the students, they get out of the exam knowing more than when they came. It's when they are under pressure and trying to solve the exam that you have, is when the brain is trying to connect as many dots as possible. So, and remember here, we are discussing about that because we want our students to learn ROS. That's the purpose, to learn ROS. It's not to cover a number at the universities. That's not why I'm here. I want my students to learn. So I found that this is very important because it makes them pressure, and the things that they learned under that pressure, they stay for a longer time there. That's my experience. And also it happened to me personally. So then what I suggest is that you create an extra project containing an exam. And about the exam, how to structure this project. So I'm not going to explain you that because it's going to be a long time, but I'm going to provide you a link with this, with an example of an exam in just a minute, okay? So so you will get this project example, and then you can check it out. It's an exam that I have used at La Salle. Okay, then you have provided all those units. You have created also the extra project for the project, and you have the extra project for the exam. Now it is time that you share with the students. So you share with the students the units. And I would suggest that you share one by one, not all at the same time, because otherwise they will make a mess. So it's better just to share one, wait until you pass to the next one, and then share. And what does it mean to share? Well, inside the ROS Development Studio, it's very easy. Just go to the project that you have created for the Unit 1, and then click on the button that says share. Link is going to appear. You copy the link and provide to the student. So anybody that clicks on that link, it's going to obtain the same project that you had, and it's going to execute in the same conditions as you had in when you were creating that unit. So you know that you know for sure that if your robot was moving in this way, then for the student is going also to move in this way. So you can be sure of that. So it's not going to crash on the computers of the student because his computer is a Mac and yours was a Windows, or you forgot to install the library, whatever. No, because the environment is the cloud environment. It's the same for everyone. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you in a minute how it works. Then you share with your students, and then the next step is to enjoy teaching. Yes, that's it. You have to enjoy your teaching in the class. And how do you do? Well, when you go to the class, you share this link with the students, you provide the link, you open it, the project there, and project like you have here in this picture, and all the students, they are opening at the same time the project. So you use the documents of the Jupyter Notebook as a guide for you, so you can see that you are not forgetting some of the points and that you are doing in the proper order. So you can use there because it's there as a guide on your screen. And then also you can make them practice while you are there. So you explain, and then you reach one of the exercises that I mentioned, and then you say, okay, now is your turn. Now is your turn. So they have to solve in real time there in the class the exercise, and then you will be moving around and checking. And then the students, you will see that they start to asking you a lot of questions when they have to do it practically. Make the robot move. Not connect a topic with a topic, a number that goes to this number. No. Make this robot avoid the obstacle and get out of the room. That is an exercise that makes sense in the mind, you know? Then you will see that they ask you a lot of questions, so you will be there for some minutes, letting them solve the exercise, and then after that, then you can provide the answer. I mean, yeah. So I was checking it here. So let me go and provide you with a summary of the process. That is for first you have to decide the subject to teach, the units of the course, and the programming language. Then you have to create a project for each unit that you are going to include into the course. Then you have to get a robot simulation for each unit, create a Jupyter Notebook for each unit, and create some code for each unit. And then you have to repeat this for each unit, then finally create a project and an exam. Then share with the students and enjoy. Okay, so let me provide you with those examples, ROSJet examples. So those are links of ROSJets that I have created for let's say for a unit 1 in ROS navigation. As I mentioned, it's about odometry, doing navigation just based on odometry. So I'm going to provide you this, then also I'm going to provide you a ROSJet that contains a project that describes to the guys, hey, you have to do this and this and this. Okay, and then I'm going to provide you also with an exam that is an example of an exam that they have to solve. It's an exam that they have to do things. They don't have to check option A, B, or C or write the answer. No, they have to do something in the ROS environment and create that and then share that exam with you so you can check it and reproduce, of course. So you're going to get the same results as his. So let me copy those links for you here on the chat. And then afterwards, let's have a look very, very quickly to the platform so you can see how it is. And then we'll go to the questions. Here it is. Okay, let me see if I can copy all that at once. I don't know if the chat is going to allow me, so I'm copying here and going to paste here. Okay, no, it didn't work. So let me go one by one. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Just a second. Okay, first I'm going to share with you the unit 1 of the ROSJet. So that's an example of a unit, okay? So here it goes. Then I'm going to share with you the project, an example of a project. And then I'm going to share with you an exam. So if you click on those links, you're going to be redirected to the ROS Development Studio. And then you will see that it generates when you log in with your account. If you don't have, create an account, a free account. And then once you are logged in, you will see that it creates a copy of the ROSJet in your own area. And that's what's going to happen with your students when you share that, your units with them. So, okay, before going to that, let me check here some questions that I have. Wasif that says, I'm studying mechatronics engineering. I want to learn ROS. Can I have your email? Yes, so I'm going to provide you my contact details by the end of this webinar. We are about to finish, so just stay with me. 5 minutes more and then we are done. Then also, Kairul Islam says, I am Kairul from Bangladesh, studying in grade 12. I want to learn ROS. Can I have your email, LinkedIn? Yes, so you'll get it there. And then we have Mikel Larrea, the exam links fails. Don't tell me that, Mikel. Okay, Mikel is always coming to the live classes also. I know, and to the ROS ComDev. The exam is failing. Okay, so let me see. The exam is failing. Let me see. I'm trying to open it. Is trying to open. Yes, I see. Okay, so yeah, so then let me do live with you. I can see. Let me just go a second. So let me go to my account, and actually I'm going to show you live so you can see live. And yeah, the problem is that, okay, before going to that, yeah, because it's because of the presentation, then it's going to take a long time to load afterwards. So let me go and then we are going to solve this problem with the exam link and show you how to do it in the live in the presentation. And then just wanted to finish to telling you that this is a lot of work. I know that you had to work a lot for preparing all that stuff, but we have an all set solution for that. And the advantages of our solution is that it allows the students to start learning from minute 1 and without using any computer, as you have seen here in the same example. But also you can get control of the students' work. You can check in our solution, you can check what the students are studying, how much time, how are their scores, and etc. You can, in our solution, you can get all the material done for the classes. So you don't have to prepare neither the simulations, the code, the documents, the Jupyter. And we also provide the exams and the correction of them. So you can get the grade directly in your teacher's area. And also we even provide a LinkedIn certificate for the students. So saying that they have passed this specific course on ROS. And then by using this solution, you can enjoy, because you can just go there and go through the material that is already provided and deliver it. This is a paying solution that we have done, and that some universities around the world, they are using. As you can see, this is just an example of some of them, and they are all distributed around the world, in Asia, in the States, in Europe, and so on. Even here in Spain, we have some of them. And this is something that one of the lecturers at the University of Garden, Stephen Pfiffner, says about this platform that we have for teaching. That's the paying version, okay? And so I highly recommend you that you give a try, but I'm not going to tell you anything more because I don't want to sell, as I mentioned before. So this is just in case that you are interested and you would like to know more, then contact me. Also, in case that you have any other question, additional questions, you have a free 30 minutes consultancy bonus because you have attended this webinar. So you can go to this link that is here. I'm going to paste it on the chat also, and then make a reservation on the time, and then we can chat using a virtual room on internet and see each other, and you can tell me your doubts, your questions, your problems, and I will try to give you an answer and the best as I can. Okay, so let me copy this into the chat also for free consultancy. And in case that you are interested in this special solution, you can also ask me about it and so on. Okay, so let me copy this and paste it here. Okay, then Chakravati says, thanks a lot for both Python and Linux courses, Ricardo. Okay, my pleasure, Chakravati. My pleasure, of course. And then we have Jack's Beauty that says, thank you. My pleasure. Then Research says, can you share some information about prices for the live robot connection, please? Thank you, Rebecca. Sorry, Rebecca. Then I don't want to sell here, so that's what I mentioned. So this is just providing you all the information for you. Then I will be happy to discuss that with you. Please reserve some time with me, and then I will explain to you. I will be happy, but the thing is that I don't want to sell, because this is for providing value, things that you can use without paying anything, and that are useful for you as teachers. So if you want to know more about that, contact me. I will be happy. Then before that, before finishing, or before going to the question section, let me stop here the presentation, and then go directly to the ROS-DS online. ROS-DS online. So I'm going to look for my exam. So here in this case, so as you can see here, we have this is my area. Actually, it's not mine, it's the company's one. That we contain many ROS jets there for different things. Those ROS jets are the ones for the live classes that I deliver on the Tuesdays. And then we have many other things in there. So what you do is, when you have a ROS jet here, is to, for example, I'm going to share with you the live class of yesterday, this ROS jet that we used there. So I'm going to click on here on this button, share, and then copy the link. So let me copy the link, and then I'm going to paste it into the chat. Live class ROS jet. Then I paste it here, and then you are going to get, if you click on there, you're going to get a copy of that ROS. So let me search here for my exams. If I have any exam here on my ROS, I can search and filter here. And then it's going to have here, okay, so here we have one. I remember that one. It's from some months ago, but yeah, so here it is, this exam of robot navigation. So let me share this link with you. Copy link, copy it, and then paste it here. So you can have the exam here. Okay, so now you have an exam of robot navigation. And then also remember that you can search here for other ROS that other people. So let me see if there are more exams here. So the first one is for searching on all the public ROS that do exist. So yeah, so here I can see many exams that people has used. ROS2 Basic Unit 1, I don't know. So they have the word exam in any of their descriptions or so on. So those are, some of them, they are made by people. Some are done by us. So you can see here that there are a lot of ROS. In your area, you can go to your own ROS, or then go to your, that these are our ROS 228, but then you can go to the public ROS. That means all the ROS that somebody else, some other users they have created. We have about 7,000 from different robots. You can search here for different robots, also for different configurations that we are supporting, if it's ROS kinetic, melodic, or dashing. When you create a new ROS, then you have to come here to this link here. You create a new one, and then it's here where you fill everything. And there is one place here where you select the ROS configuration. So you can select ROS2 Eloquent if you want to practice with the latest ROS version that has just been released, or dashing, or melodic, ROS kinetic, whatever. And then create and share, etc. I'm not going to go into the details there. So now I think it's time that we go back to the questions and see if you have any questions. So let me see, go to the chat and then write your questions. I will be happy to answer that. I am here for you. So I don't know if people, I cannot see here more questions. Okay, yeah, I know there is a delay in between my speech and then the reception in your side. But yes, so that's what we got every live class that we do every week. So any questions? I can see that there is a lot of people there watching, so don't be shy. Tell me. Contact details, please. So they are there, so you can. Oh, okay, you mean directly contact details. You mean an email or something? Yes, but so I'm going to provide you here my email, okay? But it's going to be difficult that I answer you because too many things. It's not for anything in particular, so that's why I provide you my agenda. So yeah, you can book there in order to contact me. But anyway, I don't mind to share my contact details. But yeah, the probability that I answer there is low. It's a little bit low. Actually, wait a second. I have it here, so you can. If I move to the next slide, there's my contact detail. Yeah. So there you can see my. If we put it bigger, yes, something like that. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I think I moved the wrong button. Okay. Yeah, the thing is I never used Windows, so this is the first time that I'm using it, so I don't know exactly where is it. But well, anyway, you can see that. You can see the details. So let me know if you have any question. No more questions apart from contact details. Hello. Then if there are no questions, then I think we are going to finish here. Oh, one question here from Niklas Ekholm. He says, do you have tutorials for programming NVIDIA Jetson Nano robot? And yeah, that's very funny because we are about to finish a new series of videos. You know that we in our YouTube channel, we release a lot of videos for ROS 2, for ROS 1, questions and answer, live classes. We also have another series for projects. I mean, building actual robots and ROSifying them. And then we are finishing now this week a new series of videos that tutorials actually that show you how to build a robot using an NVIDIA Jetson Nano. And then we are going to show you in the next series in December, we are going to show you how to make this robot work with ROS 2, how to, in this series now in November, you are going to see how to make people tracking. So the robot can detect there is a person and go and move it into it by using the Jetson Nano. So you have to stay with us, just stay there. Also, another thing that we are about to release next week is a new series of videos about how to program web interfaces for robots. This is something that we haven't discussed here, but the robots of the future, they are going to need to have a web interface. So the users, they can to interact with them with any device by using a mobile phone. And you are not going to want to have an app for each robot, don't you? So it's going to be a web interface. So stay tuned for this new series. There is a premiere next week on Thursday. It's going to be, okay, so I'm giving you extra information. Nobody outside the construct knows this. So please don't tell the others. So the others will see this notification along this week. I think that tomorrow is going to be notified this premiere for this web new series of web environments for ROS robots. And the premiere means that we are going to release the video and all of us, we are going to watch the video at the same time and we can discuss on the chat, make questions and so on. I wait for you. Then Niklas says, very interesting. I will let my student build classroom robots. That's great. We are trying to make the price as low as possible, around 200 euros. That's what we have achieved to do, okay, around there. So we will give you the details on those videos. Okay, so if there are no more questions, guys, I want to go and have dinner because I deserve it. Yes, so, but it's dinner at Spanish time because here is about, it's 8 in the afternoon and then around 9, 10 time. That would be the time. Okay, guys, so we are going to finish here. Thank you very much. You are going to receive an email with extra information with the slides and a book that explains with more details how to do all those steps. And thank you for attending the webinar. So you are going to receive that, and remember to book one time with me in case that you want to ask me questions, know more about the specific solution that we have where you don't have to prepare anything or so on, or your problems with teaching with ROS. I will be happy to answer you on that. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you very much, Mikkel. Thank you, Klaus. Thank you, Rebecca. And guys, see you around the world, okay? Keep pushing your ROS teaching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye if I find how to stop this, because I always have the same problem. Yes, here it is.